Hi, welcome to another episode of Q&A with Dr. B. In this episode, we're going to answer the question how to combine a first name and last name column into a full name column with the last name, comma, first name. In the last episode, we took the full name and we split it into two names. So we had this first name with Aaron Bussey, Aaron being the first name, Bussey being the last name, split it into a column for the first name, Aaron, and a column for the last name, Bussey. And that enabled us to be able to sort our table by last name. But what we would like to do now is combine these two fields into one column with the last name first, and then a comma, and then the first name. There is a special formula that we can use to do this. So what I'm going to do is insert a column after the last name in order to put that, and we're going to call this column full name, last, first. And right here is where we're going to do our formula. Now remember, all formulas start with an equal sign. And this is what we call a string formula because it allows us to manipulate string or text data. And the formula we're going to use is called concatenate. And it starts with C-O-N, and notice in the drop-down box we find it. The only way to choose it is to click on it. When we click on our formula or double click on our formula, notice it, or our function that we want, it puts the function and then an open parentheses and then our choices. And notice what we do is we put the text fields that we want to concatenate in parentheses after the word concatenate. So the first thing we want is our last name. So we're going to use C2 because we're going to use a reference to the last name. Then I'm going to put a comma, and then in quotation marks, I'm going to put a comma and a space. That's because we want a comma and a space be concatenated between the last name and the first name. And then I have to close quotes and comma. I know this looks a little strange, but the commas here separate the fields. The quotation marks creates a string or a text string that will go into our new field. And then we put a comma, and then we'll put the first name and close parentheses. Notice Excel highlights in color or outlines in color the fields that we're referring to in our function or formula so that we can make sure we have the correct range selected. So I'm going to hit enter, and notice I'm going to make that column a little bigger by dragging between the D and the E here. And notice it worked. It put last name, comma, space, first name. And now what I can do is drag that all the way down, and I don't have to retype them all with the last name, first name. And so that's how we use the concatenate function to put text fields together into one column, or text columns into one column.